Hey guys, it's John here, presenting my part of Chapter 10. I got PsychWatch, MindTech, Infocentral, and MediaSpeak. So moving on to PsychWatch here, we got Munchausen syndrome by proxy. So this is where a caregiver will deliberately harm a child for essentially people's attention. You know, they want sympathy, adoration, whatever. And this adoration for their devotion, sorry, that just means that they want like recognition, I suppose, and appreciation for their work to take care of their ill child. However, obviously, this illness is going to be artificial because they're causing it. Now, these caregivers are considered mentally ill because it's, I guess, it's kind of like a pathological thing, right? Because they're doing this to get attention. So something happened, you know, at some level that makes them need this kind of care, and they'll go to those lengths to get it. And however, obviously, since this is child abuse, this is considered a crime, and parents can and will be arrested for doing this. And this, although that's technically less likely, they will get separated from the child by Child Protective Services. I included this photograph right here. If you look at that, and I have a link below it if you want to look more into it. But the short and sweet version of it really is that this woman medically abused her child for 8 years and worked the system. And that's something you have to watch out for because these people are very cunning. They know how the medical system works. They know how to trick doctors. And they can also, and it's not even just sympathy sometimes. They can do it for money too because you can go Make a Wish and you can go, GoFundMe's, and all these will create some kind of, not even necessarily financial compensation, but I don't know, I guess some kind of like reinforcement for the action. And so that's what she was doing as well, and getting all this attention from doctors. And the father more or less knew what was going on, but he couldn't prove it, so he couldn't get full custody of the child until he finally, he was really covert about it. And he gathered a whole bunch of evidence, and he was finally able to win over the judge and the jury, and he was awarded full custody, and she was sent to jail for 6 years over it. Moving on to MindTech, can social media spread mass hysteria? So first off, what is mass hysteria? So this can also be called a mass psychogenic illness. It's when a whole lot of people experience the same symptoms and they don't actually have an apparent medical cause. So doctors will be left scratching their heads when it's actually likely rooted in some psychological aspect. And what the article concludes is it definitely can. Social media can spread mass hysteria, and these are classified as a conversion disorder, which are kind of what I said above, neurological symptoms that don't have any medical root, and it's based in psychology. Now, if you look at my picture below real quick, you'll see this group of nuns, right? So I believe this happened a long, long time ago, probably in the 1600s. One nun just started all of a sudden like meowing like crazy, I believe, and then the other nuns started doing too, and they couldn't stop. So the local people had to call over police from another town, and as far as I know, the police physically beat them until they stopped, and they did stop. I mean, if you're getting beaten, you'll probably stop meowing too, right? Anywho, moving on from there, we have Infocentral, sleep and sleep disorders. So you got your big ones here. You got insomnia, which is difficulty sleeping and actually staying asleep. So there's getting asleep and there's staying asleep. Sometimes you'll have a problem with one or even both, and this will have to happen over a period of time. It's not just one night you lose an hour or two and you're an insomniac. It's to that kind of clinical definition you have to have for a period of time. You have hypersomnolence, and this is just when you're really sleepy. Honestly, I think that's about it. Not too much to that one. Got narcolepsy, which is all of a sudden you just fall asleep, no matter what you're really doing. You could be running, walking, making dinner, and you're just out like a light, hit the floor, done skis. You have sleep apnea disorder, and that's when you wake up while you're sleeping. Well, That doesn't actually make sense. You know, you're sleeping and then you wake up, and this is because you're not breathing properly or at all, and you're oxygen deprived. So your brain is freaking out. Says, "Hey, wake up, bro. There's an issue up front." Circadian rhythm disorder. This is at least to our society's norms, right? That we're awake during the day, sleep at night, and so this is an unusual sleep schedule. So you're probably up most of the night and then sleeping more of the day. And then parasomnias. You got sleepwalking, night terrors, nightmares. Sleepwalking and night terrors, you're actually awake. Sleepwalking, I know you're more ambulatory. You're walking around stuff and you're not really aware of your surroundings. Same with night terrors. Nightmares, it's more even obviously a sleep thing, and just, I don't know, spooky monster right away. And I'm just gonna let you guys look at these statistics. Although I will point out that college students get the least sleep on average. So, yay us, right? And also, 1 out of 4 adults suffer from some degree of insomnia. That is a lot of people. I mean, come on. It's like, so at least one of our teachers probably has insomnia, right? You good, Mr. V? Alright, moving on to MediaSpeak. We got when doctors discriminate. So the author who wrote this experienced discrimination in treatment by doctors due to her diagnosis of bipolar disorder. So she experienced from a couple doctors, as she quoted, she's probably more. One time she went to go see the doctor because her ear was hurting really bad, like really bad. She said the worst pain since her giving birth, and he refused to prescribe her anything good for it because of her bipolar medications, and he didn't want to mess with anything, and I don't know, he didn't really give it enough attention, so he just said to take some Tylenol and go home. And it ended up rupturing. And 6% of severely mentally ill people die of preventable diseases. This is a very large number, and not to get dark here, but my mom actually passed a month ago, and she had severe bipolar disorder, and I think they're saying it was heart failure, so I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's at least somewhat preventable. So I'm kind of left to wondering if, she ended up being one of those statistics. But I don't know, it is what it is, I suppose. These people who also use public health care are likely to die 25 years sooner than those without mental illness. So these people are, severely mentally ill, and they have to use public health care. They're not wealthy enough to use private. That's like a third of your life, which is about, again, relating back to me, corresponding to my mom, who just passed right before hitting 50, pretty much. So, yeah, so I don't know, I mean, that number makes me a little bit upset, and I hope it, doesn't tickle you the right way either. Anyway, so that's the presentation. Please look at these more in depth. It's very interesting, and I don't know, hope you had a decent time. Sorry I went dark there for a sec. Alright.